here's the times that I get to travel for this job, it's always go to this, part of the world and be there for a couple of hours and then move. I never get any downtime. Do you ever get downtime when you're promoting a movie internationally?
Yeah, well, the most fun tour, I mean, one of the best press tours I ever went on was for 21 Jump Street, because Channing Tatum is one of my best friends. He's like my brother, and we got to go to Australia. And the flight was so long, and it was crazy. And when Channing and I get together, like, really bad stuff just happens. Like, it's not okay, And he was basically, like, pouring drinks down my throat from the second we got on the plane.
Yeah, it's all his fault.
Yeah, it was all him. I was like, no, I want to sleep. No, I was wrong too.
Yeah.
So we get there and we get off the plane and immediately
people?
we're like, let's go swimming. And so we go to Bondi.
So what state are you in when you get off the plane?
Like,
Let's be fair.
Blackout drunk.
Okay.
So like we go and we're like, let's go. And what's the coolest beach? And they're like, Bondi Beach. Now we didn't know that there's literally a reality show called Bondi Rescue, because there's such a bad riptide there that dumb tourists get off the plane and go swimming and drown.
Yeah.
And get rescued. Okay.
Yeah.
And so we go in the ocean, and I start swimming, and then like a second later, like what feels like a second, I look back, and Chan's about a mile away from me. He's this big, and he's a big guy. He's literally this big.
Is he the one that's drifting out far?
No, I'm the one who's drifting out.
Yeah. Good.
He's like by the beach, like taking pictures with people, and I'm literally like head bobbing out, like, what's going on? Where am I? And I start to swim as hard as I can, and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is how I die.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I am a guy who died in the ocean in Australia, and that's it.
Yeah.
Wasted. Okay, so finally a guy comes out on a jet ski and is like, hey mate, like, we gotta pull you in. You're gonna die out here. And so I'm like, oh, it's my terrible Australian accent.
Yeah.
And so he kind of pulls me in, and then I start swimming, and I'm exhausted from all the time I was swimming in place. And what's crazy is there was paparazzi on the beach, and then rarely in life you tell a story that sounds ridiculous, and there's a picture that's even more ridiculous than the actual story, and I'm gonna show it to you guys.
You have this a picture of you struggling in the water.
Yes, almost
The
drowning. Okay, there's also another picture of me traumatized on the beach.
Yeah, they get you back to the beach.
Literally like a scared child who's been through a trauma, okay? And so,
The best part, still drunk.
just blackout. And so the worst part of it was we're there for a week doing press, and in your hotel they'll leave a newspaper sometimes. I opened the newspaper, on the front page of the Sydney newspaper was, Jonah Hill, actor, almost drowns. And that picture is on the cover of the newspaper for all of Australia to see. And then every interview we did started off with, hey, you went for a swim yesterday, huh? Just like, yeah.
All right, so what do we get from this rather than a really hilarious story? Is we are hearing about, other guys. And then also it's like the story of you wouldn't even know the missing information, right? It wasn't like, and then also it's like if you would, could you write that down?
It wasn't about judgment.
Missing information, and it was not about judgment. It was able to laugh itself.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, let me break those first two down. So like the deciders are gonna have a really hard time with the extreme embarrassment of that. Where the double deciders would be like, I'm outside the situation. I look like a complete total fucking ass, and I can kind of tell the story and join in at laughing at myself.
And share the images.
Yeah, exactly. And like be part of the audience member of like, let's join in of laughing at myself, right?
Why? Sorry.
I know, it's
when
English.
When did we get rid of the E in judgment?
You're British English. I know.
Is this new?
It is new. Yeah.
Okay.
They're trying to help out. So.
Well, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Why would I Okay.
Do you want to change it to English?
Why would I do that?
Well,
like, can't you just say?
Like Google doesn't know that I'm in fucking Portland, Oregon.
Can I have more options and say never correct? Like, see, this is what's so stupid about the. Yeah, add judgment to the dictionary. If it's not there already, please add it.
Out of all the things like that needs to be done with spell check, they're just going the wrong direction.
Like, get off me.
I know. So it's also like what we see this with like people that send in emails or try to fill out forms. It's like that the vibe of you didn't know. You wouldn't even believe what happened. I went to the ocean and didn't know that it was a dangerous place, and I got dangerous. I didn't even know, and like all the double observers are kind of like, well,
what?
Yeah, like why didn't you know that? Or they're like, okay, you got me, and I didn't see it, but I'll see it the next time, or I did see it, or whatever. Anyways, I'm really embarrassed.
That is very true. So let me talk about from my perspective, the observer game. I watch somebody, and it feels like they walk in the room and they somehow have barbed wire wrapped around them in like a million different ways, like through their ears. Like you're just like, how did you get yourself so entangled in pure chaos? And they're just like, and then this thing, and then they're just vomiting out bullshit, and you're like, that's how I, as a double observer, see the single observers.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know what you did, but somehow you didn't know what was coming, or you didn't see what has happened, and then you got blackout drunk chaos.
Right.
And therefore, you don't have time to be like, wow, I'm super fucking embarrassed.
Yeah, right.
I should have known, and I think that's where a lot of the judgment fears from the single deciders come from. Like, I should have known, and now everybody's seeing that I should have known, and so now I'm embarrassed.
So is it a missing information story at the beach or a judgment story at the beach? Not so much on the judgment side.
No.
I also think this is really cool. You put out a magazine free of charge. Just wasting money so that people can have a magazine. But you talk about weight issues and your fluctuating weight and body shaming and you interview people. What made you want to do that?
Well, do we have the
magazine?
sheet? Yeah, do we have any of it?
I have it in my room. Do
Okay,
we have
that's far away from here. Well, okay, well,
that's in.
So basically, I think everybody has a version of themselves. I call it like a snapshot. Let's say at some point in your life of the person you are, you're trying to kind of hide from the world, or makes you feel a certain way. And even if you get success, or you grow up, or you become good looking, or whatever, the things that you think will fix the thing, you kind of carry some part of that with you. So for me, it's definitely being like this 14-year-old kid, being overweight, wanting to fit in with these skaters and hip hop kids, and just feeling lonely and maybe not understanding my own worth. So at the end of the magazine, it says this magazine is dedicated to this guy, and it's me standing with that picture of myself at 14. And a lot of the stuff I talk about in the magazine is basically like, I think, I came up like this, in goofy comedies and this kind of like curly-haired, overweight kid, and everyone had their own opinion on what I should be, how they could speak to me, how they could treat me. And it was only through writing and directing mid-90s. Oh, okay, here we go. This is the magazine.
Yeah.
This is it.
So
yeah. But thank you. To land my point, I'll sort of read the manifesto kind of thing at the beginning because it might give it a little bit of a better context. So I became famous in my late teens and then spent most of my young adult life listening to people say that I was fat and gross and unattractive. And it's only in the last 4 years writing and directing my movie mid-90s that I've started to understand how much that hurt and got into my head. I really believe everyone has a snapshot of themselves from a time when they were young that they're ashamed of. For me, it's that 14-year-old overweight and unattractive kid who felt ugly to the world, who listened to hip hop and wanted so badly to be accepted by this community of skaters. For this magazine, I asked 12 people I respect and admire if they can relate to this in their own way and how they've learned to love themselves. The interviews are all centered around the question, what is that snapshot for you? They turn into some of the most meaningful conversations I've ever had. I hope you enjoy this magazine. Jonah.
That's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I have no idea what he said because he was reading ST. Sorry to go first.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Jocko with his fucking book reports.
Yes.
Hey, really good information. Let me just read it. Okay, I can't hear you because you're not inflecting. There's no song. There's no emotion. There's no ups and down. I am reading the thing, but it's already being. Well, what the hell was that? That seemed kind of a little ST-ish, or at least sensory. I have to prove it to you in the censor. Let me just read it.
Okay, so yeah, like this is what ST is, and this is like, and
or at the very
it's
least
mostly sensory. This is mostly what sensory is. Like, and it's funny to watch people that will jump into the video typing and like they're like obligated to read our exact questions. Okay, let me read your page. I haven't done anything.
Right.
I'm scared. What do I do? The first thing I'm going to do is read the sensory. And this is where everybody gets off. This is where they absolutely fucking miss it because they're like, what? I was reading about theory. It's like, this is what sensory is obligated to do. It has to go and give you the exact proven, it already has happened information because that's where the magic is. I can't just summarize.
Right.
He's not summarizing.
I know.
Why isn't he jumping to...
Please summarize.
Right.
Please don't roll up on a fucking talk show and read something.
But if you're Savior SE, not to jump ahead here, but like if you're Savior SE, this is exactly what your functions do. My functions are constantly like, shit, I didn't go do the work already for summarizing. So the problem is when I go to start a story, a lot of times I have to go and read through my bullshit censor or the bullshit censor in order to go, oh, you know what that was about? It was about this conclusion. A lot of times you'll see me do that with Dave. When Dave is talking, I'm like, oh, okay, so it's about this. I'll give conclusions, I'll give summaries, I'll give overviews. It's just
later.
absolutely not coming first.
Right.
And then one more thing I wanted to write down that he kept saying, he said a couple of times, I didn't understand my worth. And he said another phrasing, didn't know how I felt or something like that. This is my demons, question mark, demon, N-I and F-I, question mark. I don't know.
That might be pushing a little far, but
I am pushing.
But possibly. But this is somebody who's going through I'm trying to figure out my worth chapter in life.
Yeah.
That's something I'm seeing. It's like everybody goes through that chapter. Everybody at some point in time has to figure out who am I, what's my worth.
Right.
And I'm seeing like there's some of the people that were typing this month for video typing. Like I was watching this one IP person that was just very much. Oh, God, I don't know how to describe it. Like it's like missing information with people. Like can't.
Yes.
Like I hurt my friend. And I don't know why. And I'm obviously this way. No, you're not that way. Like
right.
Can't see self. Can't see others. just an extreme missing information delusion when it comes to people.
Yes.
And so like double the siders, they have the same amount of problems, but it's like they're not missing information when it comes to people. Like he can like see like, or a double sider is like, I can see that I was off. I can see I was insecure. I can see that how I looked from the tribe. I could see I was weighing everybody down from my insecurity. I was
but
seeing
literally blackout drunk. Like,
but I can't see I can't see the sign at the fucking ocean.
Right.
Or the NI
or
or whatever.
what country I was in. I had no idea where I was at. Like, can't tell a story because there's giant portions of information that's missing.
Right.
Ladies. How do you two know each other?
Whoopi's friends with my mom.
Yeah.
And me.
Yes.
And Beanie.
Yeah.
My sister.
Yeah.
And my dad.
Yeah.
What about your dog?
No, they don't get along very well. No, she's obviously one of my heroes. I mean, who's not a huge fan of Whoopi's, but also so many losers they don't count. But she's just an amazing person. I adore her. I love her very much.
And you know they're an amazing family. The whole family is great. But his sister Beanie,
especially.
Yes, she's a wonderful actress. She's in movies like Lady Bird, and she was on Broadway in Hello, Dolly.
Wait, go back to the one of me. Oh yeah. No, there she is.
She was terrific.
Yeah, there she is.
She
That's
was
a crazy
great.
picture.
She is. That's right. My gosh, look at I know that face.
Yeah, she's the best. We love Beanie. She's the best person in our family, hands down. We rank her as number one. She's been a long-standing number one for a long time. I don't see her going anywhere.
No, but I think everybody shares that. Your family's kind of wonderful.
That's
Hi,
so
Sharon.
sweet.
And I love that when you get a bunch of DEs together or ADE, like quickly they got to talk about the person who's not there.
Yeah, right?
Right? Because if the sister was actually there, they'd be like, well, she's actually kind of a shithead. She's really not that great. Kind of a dumbass.
No.
Maybe not like his sister. I'm just saying like archetypally the story. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, my buddy who's not here, he's so great. And then like when you actually meet him, you're like, he's not. Right? I'm sure the sister would agree. She's like, look, don't put that pressure on me.
Don't put that on
I'm not
me.
that fucking great. Right?